A peaceful morning in a traditional Japanese paper-making village. Welcome, sleepy traveler. If you're enjoying these gentle journeys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more peaceful stories like this one. And tell me in the comments, which country are you watching from? Now, find a comfortable spot, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Chapter 1. Waking to soft light. You wake, slowly, peacefully, to the gentlest touch of morning light filtering through the shoji paper walls of your small wooden home. The light is soft, diffused, like honey, slowly spreading across rice paper. Your futon rests on tatami mats, woven from sweet-smelling igusa rushes that have been dried under summer suns for months, their earthy fragrance filling each quiet breath you take. The morning air is cool against your skin, fresh with the scent of mountain mist and blooming ume plum blossoms from the hillside gardens. You breathe in, slowly, deeply, feeling your chest rise and fall with the natural rhythm of dawn. Outside your paper walls, you can hear the soft tapping of a bamboo water feature, a shishi odoshi, as it fills with spring water and tips, creating a gentle wooden sound that echoes across the valley. Your village nestles in the mountains of Echizen province, where families have been making washi paper for over 800 years. The knowledge passes from grandmother to mother, from mother to daughter, in whispered teachings and patient hands. Here in the year 1750, time moves like honey, slow and golden, sweet with tradition. You stretch beneath your cotton-filled yogi sleeping robe, feeling the soft warmth against your skin. The fabric was woven on a wooden loom in the next village, dyed with indigo grown in terraced fields that climb the mountainsides like steps to heaven. Each thread holds the patience of seasons, the careful tending of hands that know their craft. Through the translucent shoji, you watch shadows of maple branches dance slowly across the paper screens. The maple leaves, momiji, are just beginning to show the first blush of autumn colour. Deep red edges on green hearts. Soon they will fall like gentle rain, carpeting the pathways with crimson and gold. The sound of wind chimes reaches your ears. Delicate glass bells hanging from the eaves of neighbouring homes. They sing softly in the mountain breeze. Tiny voices carrying prayers and wishes across the valley. The sound is like water over stones. Like silk through gentle fingers, you sit up slowly, feeling the cool morning air touch your face. Your black hair, long and smooth, falls across your shoulders like a silk waterfall. You gather it gently, twisting it into a simple style, held with a wooden comb carved from cherry wood. The comb belonged to your grandmother, and her grandmother before her, worn smooth by countless mornings just like this one. From somewhere in the distance, you hear the soft sound of a temple bell, its bronze voice rolling across the mountains like gentle thunder. The bell marks the hour of the rabbit, between 5 and 7 in the morning, when the world is soft and new. Buddhist monks in mountain temples have been ringing such bells for centuries, calling the faithful to morning prayers, marking time with sacred rhythm. You rise from your futon, your feet touching the cool tatami mats. The mats are made from rice straw, tightly woven and covered with igusa rush, creating a surface that yield slightly under your weight. Each mat is exactly the same size, 3 feet by 6 feet, a measurement that has remained unchanged for hundreds of years. Rooms are counted by the number of mats. Your small home holds 6 mats, perfect for a papermaker's quiet life. You slide open the shoji door to your small garden, the wooden frame moving in well-worn grooves without a sound. The paper panels, made from mulberry bark and rice paste, glow like lanterns in the soft morning light. Your grandmother taught you that good shoji paper should last 20 years, growing more beautiful as time passes, developing a warm patina like aged pearls. Your garden is small but perfect, designed to capture the essence of larger landscapes in miniature. A stone lantern stands beside a tiny pond, its granite surface worn smooth by mountain weather. Moss grows in velvet patches on the stones, bright green and soft as silk. A single pine tree, carefully pruned and shaped, represents the great forests that clothe the mountains. Its needles whisper secrets to the morning breeze. Water trickles from a bamboo fountain into the small pond, where golden carp swim in lazy circles. The fish move slowly, peacefully, their scales catching fragments of sunlight like scattered coins. You watch them swim, feeling your own breathing slow to match their gentle rhythm. In, out, like meditation made visible. The air is filled with the scent of morning glory flowers, their purple trumpets opening to greet the sun. They climb wooden trellises beside your home, their heart-shaped leaves creating patterns of light and shadow. Beneath them, small herbs grow in careful rows. Shiso for flavoring rice, mitsuba for soup. Each plant tended with the same care given to fine silk. You walk to your small shrine, a wooden shelf holding offerings to the kami, the spirits of place and season. A bowl of pure water reflects the sky. Beside it, a few grains of rice and a single flower. You bow gently, hands pressed together, offering gratitude for the gift of another day. The ritual is simple, ancient, connecting you to countless generations who have greeted morning in exactly this way. The sound of temple drums begins, deep and resonant, echoing from the mountain monasteries where monks have risen for morning meditation. The drums speak of impermanence, of the fleeting beauty of each moment, teaching without words the Buddhist wisdom that has shaped your culture for centuries. You listen, feeling the sound vibrate in your chest, in your bones, like a gentle massage for the soul. Somewhere in the village, a rooster crows, its voice mixing with the distant sound of water over stones. The stream that runs through your valley has flowed for thousands of years, carrying snowmelt from sacred peaks down to terraced rice fields below. That same water will help you make paper today, as it helped your mother and her mother, in an unbroken chain of craft and devotion. You breathe in the mountain air, tasting pine and stone, moss and morning mist. The air is so clean, it seems to sparkle, filled with negative ions from the waterfall upstream. Each breath fills your lungs with peace, your blood with calm, your heart with the deep contentment that comes from living in harmony with the natural world. The light grows gradually brighter, but remains soft, filtered through layers of mist. that cling to the mountainsides like silk scarves. This is the golden hour, when photographers centuries in the future will wake early to capture such light. But you simply live within it, surrounded by beauty that asks nothing but appreciation. You pour tea into a small cup, watching steam rise like incense into the morning air. The first sip is perfect, warm, fragrant, tasting of mountain mist and patient cultivation. You drink slowly, mindfully, feeling warmth spread through your body like liquid sunlight. This is the way of tea, cha no yu, finding the sacred in simple acts, beauty in everyday moments. Outside, morning mist begins to lift from the valley, revealing terraced fields carved into hillsides like giant steps. The terraces hold water that mirrors the sky, creating landscapes that seem to float between heaven and earth. Rice has grown in these fields for over 1,000 years, each grain a small miracle of seed and soil, sun and human care. You prepare tea, measuring green leaves with a bamboo scoop. The tea comes from hillside gardens where it grows slowly in mountain mist, developing complex flavors found nowhere else. Each leaf is hand-picked, processed according to methods passed down through tea masters who devoted their lives to understanding the subtle alchemy of leaf and water, heat and time. Hot water from your iron kettle meets the tea leaves in a ceramic pot glazed the color of celadon, pale green like new bamboo. The pot was made by a master potter in nearby Bizen, his hands shaping clay that contains particles of local mountain stone. When fired in wood-burning kilns, the clay transforms into vessels that improve the taste of whatever they hold, ceramic becoming partner to the tea within. You walk slowly to your kitchen, your bare feet silent on the polished wood floors. The boards are made from cedar, grown in forests managed for centuries according to principles that ensure the trees live their lives willingly, their wood strong and sweet-smelling. Each board was hand-selected, hand-fitted, creating floors that will last for generations. Your kitchen is simple, centered around a sunken hearth called an irori. Charcoal glows beneath a hanging iron pot, the fire carefully tended to maintain perfect temperature. Above the hearth, blackened wooden beams hold tools and dried herbs, their surfaces polished by decades of wood smoke. The ceiling is tall, allowing smoke to gather and cure the timbers, preserving them like ancient amber. A butterfly visits your morning glories, its wings like stained glass windows, orange and black and delicate as tissue paper. It moves from flower to flower, seeking nectar, following patterns of behavior unchanged for millions of years. You watch its dance, feeling your own movements slow to match its gentle grace. From the kitchen, you hear the soft whistle of your iron kettle, heated over charcoal embers that have glowed all night. The kettle is made of cast iron, tetsubin, its surface decorated with raised patterns of cherry blossoms. When water boils in such a kettle, it takes on a softer taste, enriched with minerals that enhance the flavor of tea. The morning light continues to strengthen, but remains soft, filtered through paper walls that transform harsh rays into gentle illumination. This is the gift of shoji, creating spaces filled with living light. Light that changes with the hours with the seasons, with the weather. Architects of the future will try to capture such light with glass and steel, but never quite achieve the warm intimacy of paper and wood. You slide open another shoji panel, revealing a view of your village nestled in the valley below. Smoke rises from kitchen fires, straight columns in the still air, marking homes where families begin their day. The smoke carries the scent of wood and charcoal, rice cooking in iron pots, the homely perfumes of human life lived in harmony with natural rhythms. You dress slowly, each movement deliberate and graceful. The kimono wraps left over right, the way of the living, tied with a simple obi of woven cotton. No ornament is needed, your natural beauty enhanced by simplicity, like a flower that needs no jewels to shine. This is the aesthetic of wabi-sabi, finding perfection in imperfection, beauty in the natural and unadorned. Your reflection appears in a bronze mirror, its surface polished to perfection by craftsmen who understood that true mirrors show not just image, but soul. You see your face, calm, peaceful, ready for the day's gentle work. Your eyes hold the depth of mountain pools, clear and still, reflecting the wisdom that comes from living close to nature. You finish your tea, setting the cup gently on a low wooden table. The table is made from a single piece of kiyaki wood, zelkova, its grain flowing like water frozen in amber. Such tables are passed down through generations, growing more beautiful with age. Their surfaces polished by countless meals, countless quiet mornings just like this one. You walk to your wooden chest, opening it to select clothing for the day. Inside, folded with perfect precision, lie garments made from hemp and rami, natural fibers that breathe with your body. You choose a simple working kimono, dyed with indigo and madder root, colors that will not fade even in sun and water. The fabric feels soft against your skin, worn smooth by countless washings in the clear mountain stream. Birds begin their morning songs, bush warblers calling from bamboo groves, their voices liquid and sweet. The Japanese call their song ho-ho kekyo, words that echo the bird's actual call, connecting human language to the music of the natural world. You listen, feeling your heart lift with their joy, your spirit soar with their freedom. The temple bell rings again, marking time's passage with bronze voice and patient rhythm. Time here moves differently than in cities, measured not by mechanical clocks, but by the sun's journey, the changing seasons, the rhythm of human hands at work. This is time as humans knew it for thousands of years. Natural time, sacred time, time that heals rather than hurries. Your eyelids grow heavy with the peace of morning, the soft light filtering through paper walls, the distant sound of temple bells calling across misty valleys. The wind chimes sing their gentle song, growing fainter, more distant, as sleep calls you back to dreams of mulberry trees and flowing water, of hands that transform bark into beauty, of mornings that begin with light and end with perfect rest. You drift, slowly, peacefully, into the gentle embrace of sleep, where dreams taste of mountain mist and sound like temple bells, where paper-thin light filters through consciousness like morning through shoji screens. You sleep, and the morning keeps its patient vigil, waiting for your return. Like a prayer answered before it was spoken, the sun climbs higher, still hidden behind mountain peaks. But its light grows stronger, warming the air, awakening the earth. Soon you will begin your journey to the river, but for now, you rest in this perfect moment, this gift of dawn, this daily miracle of light returning to the world. Your breathing slows, matching the rhythm of the mountain itself, ancient, patient, eternal. You feel yourself settling, like sediment in still water, finding your center, your place in the great wheel of seasons and years. The morning holds you gently, like a mother's arms, like the embrace of home. A path winds down the hillside, worn smooth by generations of feet, connecting your home to the river where mulberry trees grow. You will walk that path soon, beginning another day in the ancient craft of papermaking, following routines that connect you to centuries of women who found joy in transforming tree bark into sheets of white perfection. But for now, you stand in your doorway, breathing the mountain air, feeling the soft light on your face. The moment stretches, perfect and complete, holding all the peace of dawn, all the promise of the day to come. Your heart beats slowly, steadily, in rhythm with the eternal pulse of earth and sky. A gentle breeze stirs the wind chimes, their voices singing of wind and distance, of messages carried across valleys and years. You listen, feeling your own spirit lift and dance with their music. The sound fades, leaving silence that feels like a blessing. Chapter 2. Walking to the river. You wake again, refreshed, renewed, as morning light grows stronger through your paper walls. The sleep was deep, filled with dreams of flowing water and rustling leaves, of ancient trees whose bark holds secrets of strength and beauty. Now you rise, slowly, gently, ready to begin the sacred work of papermaking. Your feet find your wooden getter sandals, their familiar weight and balance, welcoming you like old friends. The sandals are carved from single pieces of Paulonia wood, kiri, chosen for its lightness and resistance to moisture. The wood came from trees that grew for 50 years, their grain tight and smooth, their heartwood the color of pale honey. Each sandal has 2 wooden teeth, that lift your feet above mud and moisture, keeping you connected to earth while protecting you from dampness. The thongs are made from woven cotton, dyed deep indigo blue, soft from years of wear. Your feet know exactly how to grip them, toes curled gently around the fabric, finding balance and grace in movements practiced since childhood. This is the way Japanese women have walked for centuries. Small steps, measured pace, each footfall deliberate and mindful. You slide open the shoji door to your garden, feeling cool morning air touch your face like a gentle caress. The mist is thicker now, rising from the valley like incense from temple altars, carrying the scent of water and growing things. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with air so pure it seems to sparkle, charged with negative ions from countless waterfalls and flowing streams. The path to the river begins at your garden gate, the simple wooden structure, weathered to silver grey by mountain seasons. The gate opens with a soft click, its bamboo latch worn smooth by countless hands. Beyond lies the mountain path, narrow, winding, carpeted with fallen leaves from oak and maple, cherry and zelkova, creating a tapestry of brown and gold, crimson and amber. Your first steps echo softly, the wooden teeth of your getter tapping against stones embedded in the earth. The sound is rhythmic, meditative, like a wooden drum beaten slowly, steadily, marking time with footfall and heartbeat. Tap, tap, tap. Each step a prayer, each prayer a step closer to the river and the day's gentle work. The path winds through a grove of bamboo, giant grass that grows in perfect vertical lines toward heaven. The bamboo grove is called a takiba, thousands of green columns swaying gently in the morning breeze. Sunlight filters through the canopy, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance across the earth like living calligraphy. The sound is magical, rustling leaves whispering secrets in voices only wind can understand. You walk slowly, mindfully, feeling your breathing synchronize with your footsteps. In step, out step, creating a rhythm that calms your nervous system, slows your heartbeat, centers your spirit in the present moment. This is walking meditation, Aruki Zazen, finding enlightenment in simple movement, discovering Buddha nature in the space between steps. A stone lantern marks a turn in the path, its granite surface covered with soft moss, bright green and thick as velvet. The lantern has stood here for 200 years, lighting the way for countless papermakers walking to their morning work. Inside, where candles once burned, spiderwebs catch dewdrops like nets full of diamonds. Even abandonment has its own beauty, its own purpose in the great web of existence. The path descends now, following the natural contours of the mountainside. Your wooden sandals find purchase on stones, roots, patches of earth, never slipping, never faltering. Your body knows this path, has walked it thousands of times, in summer heat and winter snow, spring rain and autumn mist. Your feet remember every stone, every turn, every place where care is needed. Wild morning glories climb the bamboo, their trumpet flowers opening to catch the strengthening light. Purple and white, pink and deep blue, they bloom with no thought of human appreciation, yet their beauty fills your heart with quiet joy. This is mono no aware, the bittersweet awareness of impermanence, finding profound beauty in things that bloom and fade, that exist for just this moment, never to return in exactly this way. A small shrine appears beside the path, hardly more than a wooden shelf protected by a tiny roof. Someone has left offerings, a few grains of rice, a cup of water, a single flower. The shrine honors the kami of this place, the spirits that dwell in stones and trees, in wind and water, in the very air you breathe. You pause, bow gently, adding your own silent prayer to the thousands offered here across the centuries. The sound of water grows stronger now, the voice of the river calling through morning mist. It is the sound that has drawn papermakers to this valley for 800 years, pure mountain water flowing from sacred peaks, carrying minerals that help transform bark into beauty. The sound is hypnotic, eternal, older than human memory, more constant than the rising and setting of suns. Your path joins another, wider, worn by the feet of generations. Here other papermakers have walked, mothers and daughters, grandmothers and granddaughters, all following the same route to the same river, carrying forward traditions that stretch back through centuries like an unbroken thread. You are part of this continuity, this living connection between past and future, holding ancient knowledge in your hands. A wooden bridge crosses a small stream, its planks weathered silver by seasons of rain and snow. The bridge is arched, built without nails, held together by careful joinery and the weight of time. Each plank was fitted by craftsmen who understood wood, who worked with grain and season, who created structures meant to last for generations. Your footsteps echo hollowly as you cross, the sound mixing with water flowing below. Beneath the bridge, the stream runs clear and cold, carrying fallen leaves like small boats on a liquid journey. Trout move in the shadows, their bodies perfectly adapted to life in moving water, their presence a sign of purity, of water clean enough to support life in all its delicate forms. You pause to watch them, feeling your own life force connect to theirs, part of the same great river of existence. Wild roses grow beside the water, their simple flowers pale pink in the morning light. The roses bloom without cultivation, without human care, finding their own way to beauty in this perfect place. Their petals will fall soon, carpeting the ground with fragrant snow, returning to earth that will nourish new growth. This is the cycle, eternal, beautiful, complete. The mist begins to lift as you continue walking, revealing glimpses of the valley spread below. Terraced rice fields step down the hillsides, filled with water that mirrors the sky, creating landscapes that seem to float between earth and heaven. The rice is heading now, grain forming in green stalks that bend gracefully under the weight of future harvest. Each grain is a miracle, a transformation of sun and water, earth and human care into food that sustains life. Your breathing deepens as you walk, mountain air filling your lungs with peace. The air is so clean you can taste its purity, flavored with pine needles and morning dew, wild flowers and moss-covered stones. Each breath connects you to the forest, to the great web of photosynthesis and oxygen, plant breath and human breath, the eternal exchange that sustains all life. A hawk circles overhead, its wings motionless as it rides thermals rising from sun-warmed stone. The hawk sees everything, the entire valley spread below like a living map, streams silver as silk threads, forests dark as jade, your small figure moving along the path like a prayer made visible. For a moment you see through its eyes, feeling the vastness, the interconnection, the sacred geometry of landscape and life. The path curves around a massive cedar tree, ancient, holy, its trunk so wide that 10 people holding hands could not encircle it. The tree has stood here for over 1,000 years, witnessing the rise and fall of emperors, the changing of seasons, the daily passage of papermakers walking to their work. Its bark is deeply furrowed, home to insects and small creatures, part of the great community of forest life. You pause beneath the cedar, feeling its presence like a benevolent grandfather, patient, wise, eternally protective. Your hand touches its bark, feeling the texture of centuries, the slow pulse of sap rising from roots to crown. The tree breathes, slowly, deeply, exchanging carbon dioxide for oxygen, giving life with every breath. You breathe with it, your small human rhythm joining its vast tree time, finding peace in the connection. A wooden marker beside the tree bears characters carved by some long-dead craftsman. Kami-sama no ki, the god tree, the sacred cedar. Shinto tradition recognizes the divine in such ancient beings, spirits dwelling in forms that have witnessed centuries, that connect earth to sky, that embody endurance and patient growth. You bow, hands pressed together, honoring the tree spirit, the forest kami, the sacred presence that dwells in living wood. The river's voice grows louder as you descend, no longer distant, but immediate, present, filling the air with liquid music. It is the sound of water over stones, around bends, through rapids and pools, the eternal song that has carved this valley from solid stone, grain by grain, year by year. With patience beyond human understanding, you reach a clearing where morning mist swirls like silk scarves thrown by invisible dancers. The clearing holds the ruins of an old shrine, stone foundations overgrown with moss, wooden posts returning to earth, reclaimed by forest with graceful inevitability. Nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. But beauty exists in the passing, in the return to nature, in the circle of growth and decay and new growth. A family of deer emerges from the mist, moving like ghosts through the grey morning air. They are Japanese sika deer, small, elegant, their spotted coats perfect camouflage in the dappled forest light. They watch you with dark eyes, unafraid, recognizing in your slow movements, your quiet presence, a kindred spirit who belongs to this place. For a moment, you are all part of the same morning, the same mist, the same sacred landscape. The deer move on, dissolving back into mist like dreams returning to sleep. You continue walking, your footsteps softer now, more reverent, touched by the encounter with wild beauty. The path descends more steeply, winding through stands of mountain laurel, their thick leaves dark green and glossy, preparing for winter's approach with patient endurance. You hear voices now, soft, distant, carried on morning air like bird songs. Other papermakers are walking to the river, following paths that converge at the water's edge, bringing human community to the wild place where bark becomes beauty. The voices are quiet, respectful, understanding that morning is a sacred time when earth and sky, mist and water create moments too precious for loud words. The path levels as you approach the river, joining a wider track worn smooth by generations of feet. Here the mist is thickest, rising from water warmed by yesterday's sun, meeting cold morning air in the eternal dance of evaporation and condensation. You walk through veils of vapor, feeling moisture kiss your cheeks, bless your journey with water's holy touch. A torii gate appears through the mist, two vertical posts supporting two horizontal beams, marking the entrance to sacred space. The gate is weathered wood, unpainted, allowed to age naturally until it blends with the forest around it. This is the entrance to the river shrine, where papermakers have offered prayers for 8 centuries, asking water spirits to bless their work, to help transform bark into sheets of perfect white. You pass beneath the torii, feeling the transition from ordinary path to sacred ground. Your footsteps become even more careful, more deliberate, honoring the holy place where human craft meets natural power. The mist seems to part before you, revealing glimpses of flowing water, of mulberry trees growing wild along the banks, of the timeless place where your work begins. The sound of your wooden sandals changes, softer now, on earth that stays damp from river mist. Moss grows thick here, emerald cushions that silence footfall, that create walking surfaces soft as temple carpets. Your feet sink slightly with each step, feeling the give of moss, the moisture beneath, the living carpet that connects river to forest, water to wood. Through gaps in the mist, you glimpse other figures, women moving slowly along the riverbank, their own wooden sandals tapping gently against stone, their own quiet presence part of the morning's sacred rhythm. You are not alone in this work, this ancient craft that connects generations, that transforms trees into treasure, bark into beauty. The mist swirls and eddies, revealing and concealing, creating a landscape that seems to breathe, to pulse with life and mystery. You walk deeper into this world of water and vapor, feeling your own breathing slow, your heartbeat calm, your spirit settle into the timeless rhythm of river and season, tradition and renewal. A stone marker appears beside the path, carved with characters that read Kamigawa, the paper river, the sacred stream where bark becomes beauty. The stone is old, covered with moss, worn smooth by countless seasons, but the characters remain clear, a testament to the endurance of human purpose, the persistence of sacred work. You are almost there now, almost to the place where morning's journey ends and morning's work begins. The river calls more strongly, its voice a signpost, a welcome, a blessing on all who come to its banks with respectful hearts and skillful hands. Your wooden sandals find the familiar rhythm, tap, 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 marking time, marking place, marking the sacred space between journey and arrival. The mist begins to thin, revealing glimpses of your destination, the river where mulberry trees grow, where water runs pure and cold, where paper makers gather to begin another day in the ancient craft that transforms tree bark into sheets of perfect white. Your heart lifts with anticipation, with gratitude, with the deep peace that comes from walking ancient paths, following ancient ways, keeping ancient traditions alive. Your breathing deepens, slows, matching the rhythm of water over stones, of mist rising from blessed water, of morning becoming day in the sacred valley where paper makers work. The sound of your footsteps fades, blending with water music, with birdsong, with the eternal symphony of earth awakening to another day of transformation, another day of making beauty from bark, wonder from wood, treasure from trees. Your eyelids grow heavy with the peace of walking, the soft rhythm of wooden sandals on ancient paths, the gentle sound of water calling through morning mist. The river waits, patient, eternal, ready to receive your work, your prayers, your hands that will transform bark into beauty. You drift, slowly, peacefully, toward dreams of flowing water and sacred work, of ancient paths and morning mist, of footsteps echoing through valleys where tradition lives, where beauty is born from patient hands and flowing water. You sleep, and the morning mist carries your dreams down river paths, through sacred valleys, to places where paper makers work their quiet magic, transforming bark into beauty, tradition into tomorrow, with hands blessed by centuries of patient practice. Chapter 3. Harvesting mulberry bark. You wake once more, gently, peacefully, to find yourself at the river's edge, where morning mist rises like incense from sacred water. The journey down the mountain path feels like a dream now, a meditation of footsteps and forest, of wooden sandals finding their rhythm on stone and earth. Now you stand where your ancestors stood, where paper makers have gathered for 8 centuries, ready to begin the gentle harvest that transforms trees into treasure. The river flows before you, clear and cold, carrying snowmelt from sacred peaks down through valleys carved by time itself. The water runs over stones, worn smooth as prayer beads, around bends that follow the mountain's natural wisdom, through pools where trout hold themselves steady against the current, with movements so subtle they seem like meditation made visible. Along the riverbank, mulberry trees grow in graceful abundance, their bark the colour of cinnamon and honey, textured like silk that has been woven by patient hands. These are kozo trees, paper mulberry, Broussonetia papyrifera, their scientific name holding the memory of European botanists who marveled at trees that could become paper, that could transform their spin into sheets of perfect white. You approach the nearest tree slowly, reverently, your hands empty of everything but respect. The tree is young, perhaps 5 years old, its trunk straight and smooth, its bark ready for the gentle harvest that will not harm the living wood beneath. This is the way of sustainable craft, taking only what is needed, only what can be spared, ensuring that the tree will grow again, will provide bark for future seasons, future generations. Your fingers trace the bark's surface, feeling its texture, its readiness. The best bark comes in late autumn, when sap has retreated to roots, when the tree sleeps deeply, preparing for winter's rest. The bark peels easily now, separating from the inner wood with gentle pressure, like silk slipping from silk, like prayer releasing into sky. A small knife appears in your hand, its blade curved like a crescent moon, sharp as winter air, polished to mirror brightness by countless seasons of use. The knife belonged to your grandmother and her grandmother before her, its handle worn smooth by generations of hands, its edge maintained with whetstones and patience, with reverence for tools that serve sacred work. You make the first cut, a gentle line around the trunk at shoulder height. The blade sliding through bark like wind through water. The cut is clean, precise, deep enough to reach the inner bark, but shallow enough to preserve the living wood beneath. This is the skill learned through years of practice, the knowledge passed from mother to daughter, the wisdom of women who understand trees, who know when to take and when to wait. Another cut follows, parallel to the first, creating a section of bark that can be removed without harming the tree's ability to heal, to grow, to provide again in seasons yet to come. The measurements are traditional, handed down through centuries, tested by time and proven by countless harvests. This is ancient wisdom made practical, spiritual understanding expressed through skillful action. You begin to peel, fingers finding the edge where bark meets bark, pulling gently, steadily, with the patience of water wearing stone. The bark comes away in long strips, flexible as leather, strong as hope, beautiful as sunrise reflected in still water. Each strip is a gift from the tree, a sacrifice offered willingly, a transformation waiting to be completed by your hands. The inner bark reveals itself, pale yellow-green, soft as silk, fibrous as hope, made tangible. This is the treasure, the part that will become paper, that holds the strength to bind words, to carry thoughts across distance and time. You handle it gently, respectfully, knowing that you hold in your hands the raw material of poetry, of letters, of sacred texts, of all the written words that connect human heart to human heart. You work slowly, meditatively, allowing each strip to separate naturally, never forcing, never rushing, following the bark's own wisdom about how it wishes to be removed. This is the way of Wu Wei, effortless action, working with natural forces rather than against them, finding harmony between human purpose and natural process. The sound of your work is soft, gentle, like silk being drawn through still air. Strip after strip comes away with whispered sounds. Subtle as breathing, quiet as prayer. Around you, other paper makers work at their own trees, their own quiet harvesting, creating a symphony of gentle sounds. A chorus of women honoring ancient ways. A strip of bark, particularly long and perfect, comes away in your hands like a ribbon of possibility. You hold it up to morning light, seeing how sunlight passes through its fibers, illuminating the structure that will give paper its strength, its beauty, its ability to hold ink and thought, image and dream. This is molecular architecture, natural engineering, the tree's own wisdom about how to be strong and flexible, enduring yet responsive. You lay the bark strips carefully in a woven basket, arranging them like folded silk, like precious fabric waiting for the weaver's art. The basket was made by craftsmen in nearby villages, woven from bamboo that grew in mountain groves, split and shaped by hands that understood the relationship between form and function, beauty and utility. Each strip of bamboo was carefully selected, perfectly sized, fitted with precision that comes only from years of practice. The river water calls to you, its voice promising coolness, cleanliness, the first step in bark's transformation into paper. You carry your basket to the water's edge, where generations of paper makers have performed this same ritual. This first washing that begins the alchemical process of turning tree skin into treasure. You kneel on stones worn smooth by countless knees, by centuries of women who came here to wash bark, to begin the sacred transformation. The stones are comfortable, familiar, shaped by time and use into perfect supports for the work that must be done. Your knees find their places, positions learned in childhood, remembered by body wisdom deeper than thought. The first strip of bark enters the water with barely a sound, a whisper of fibre meeting flow, of solid joining liquid in the eternal dance of matter changing form. The river receives it gently, surrounding it with coolness, with purity, with the mineral-rich water that will help transform bark into beauty. You hold the strip beneath the surface, feeling water flow through its fibres, carrying away particles of dust, fragments of outer bark, leaving only the pure inner fibres that will become paper. The water is so cold it makes your fingers tingle. Mountain water that carries the essence of snow, of granite peaks, of springs that emerge from stone hearts deep within the earth. The washing is gentle, rhythmic, your hands moving in patterns learned from your mother, who learned from her mother, in an unbroken chain of knowledge, stretching back through centuries. You rub the bark softly, persuasively, helping water penetrate every fibre, every cell, dissolving the pectin and lignin that hold plant cells together, beginning the process that will separate individual fibres for paper making. Another strip joins the first, then another, until you work with several pieces at once, your hands dancing through the water like temple dancers, like ceremonial gestures made liquid and flowing. The bark moves with the current, twisting gently, gracefully, like silk scarves in a gentle breeze, like prayers made visible in flowing water. The river carries away impurities, tiny particles that cloud the water briefly before being swept downstream, returning to the great cycle of earth and water, mountain and sea. What remains in your hands grows cleaner, purer, more ready for transformation. The fibers begin to separate naturally, loosening under the patient pressure of your fingers, the persistent caress of flowing water. You lift a strip to examine it. Water streaming from its surface like liquid light, like tears of joy shed by the tree for its transformation. The bark has changed already, become more flexible, more responsive, more willing to give up its tree nature and accept its paper destiny. This is the first mystery, the beginning of alchemy, the moment when one thing prepares to become another. A kingfisher flashes blue across the water, its wings catching morning light like scattered sapphires. The bird dives with perfect precision, emerging with a silver fish held gently in its beak, part of the river's abundance, the great web of life that includes trees and paper makers, bark and birds, all connected in the sacred pattern of existence. You watch its flight, feeling your own spirit lift with its freedom, your own purpose clarified by its sure knowledge of what it seeks. Back to the washing, your hands finding their rhythm again, working with water and bark in the ancient dance of transformation. Each strip becomes more pliable, more willing, more ready to release its tree memories and accept its paper future. The fibers begin to cloud the water, tiny particles of cellulose floating free, beginning their journey toward becoming something entirely new. You work with patience that comes from understanding process, from knowing that good things cannot be rushed, that transformation requires time, respect, the gentle persistence of water wearing stone. This is the lesson of the river, the teaching of trees, that change comes not from force, but from faithful application of gentle pressure, from the accumulation of small actions performed with great care. The sun climbs higher, its light reaching through mist to touch the water, to illuminate your work with golden radiance. The light transforms everything it touches, bark becoming luminous, water sparkling like liquid diamonds, your hands appearing blessed as they work their gentle magic. This is the light that painters will try to capture, that poets will attempt to describe, but which exists most perfectly in this moment, in this place. Witnessed only by you and the trees and the flowing water. Other papermakers work nearby, their own hands busy with bark and water, their own quiet presence part of the morning's sacred rhythm. Occasionally, one looks up, catches your eye, shares a smile that speaks of shared understanding, of work that connects women across generations, of tradition that lives in skillful hands and patient hearts. No words are needed. The work itself is conversation. The ritual itself is communion. You notice how the bark responds differently to different touches, how gentle rubbing releases fibers more readily than firm pressure, how patience accomplishes what force cannot. This is wisdom that applies beyond papermaking, beyond craft, extending into all aspects of life where transformation is desired, where change is sought through understanding rather than dominance. A particularly stubborn piece of outer bark clings to the inner fibers, reluctant to let go, holding fast to its tree identity. You work with it gently, persistently, understanding its reluctance, respecting its attachment, but knowing that its highest purpose lies in release, in transformation, in becoming part of something greater than itself. Your fingers coax rather than command, invite rather than insist, and gradually the outer bark yields, separates, allows the inner bark to accept its paper destiny. The water around your hands grows slightly cloudy with released fibers, with particles of bark returning to their elemental state, preparing to be reformed into sheets of perfect white. You can see the transformation beginning, solid becoming dispersed, tree structure dissolving into paper potential, the first step in the alchemy that will create beauty from bark, treasure from trees. Time moves differently here by the river, measured not by mechanical clocks, but by the rhythm of hands in water, by the patient progress of transformation, by the sun's slow journey across sky reflected in flowing stream. This is organic time, natural time, time as humans knew it for thousands of years, before machines began marking minutes with metallic precision. You lift another strip, watching water cascade from its surface in liquid curtains, in flowing veils that catch and scatter light like prisms made of motion. The bark feels different now, softer, more yielding, more ready to continue its journey toward becoming paper. The fibers have loosened, relaxed their grip on tree identity, opened themselves to paper possibility. A gentle breeze stirs the mist, carries the scent of wet bark, of clean water, of morning air blessed by contact with growing things. You breathe deeply, feeling the moisture enter your lungs like liquid peace, like the breath of trees shared with human airways, the eternal exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide that connects all living things in one great respiratory system. The washing continues, strip after strip, receiving the blessing of river water, the purification that prepares bark for its transformation. Your hands know the work intimately, fingers recognizing when bark is ready, when fibers have loosened sufficiently, when the next step can begin. This is knowledge that lives in muscle and bone, in the wisdom of hands that have performed this work thousands of times. You begin to gather the washed bark, lifting strips from the water with movements like ritual dance, like ceremonial gestures honoring the gift of transformation. Water streams from each piece, returning to the river that gave it, completing small cycles within the greater cycle of mountain to sea, rain to snow, tree to paper to tree again, through the endless recycling of matter and energy. The washed bark goes into a clean basket, arranged with the same care given to precious silk, to sacred relics, to anything that deserves reverence and gentle handling. Each strip represents hours of tree growth, seasons of sunshine and rain, the patient accumulation of cellulose that will become the foundation of paper, the substance that carries human thoughts across distance and time. You stand slowly, feeling the pleasant ache of knees that have knelt on stone, of back that has bent to honor work, of hands that have practiced ancient gestures of transformation. This is the good tiredness of meaningful labor, of work that connects you to centuries of women who performed these same motions, who knelt at this same river, who began each day with hands in water and bark becoming something beautiful. The mist continues to rise from the river, creating veils and curtains that transform the familiar landscape into something magical, something touched by mystery and wonder. Through the shifting vapor, you glimpse other workers, other baskets of washed bark, other participants in the ancient dance of paper making. You are part of a community, a tradition, a living link in the chain that connects past to future through the work of present hands. A temple bell sounds in the distance, its bronze voice rolling across the valley like audible prayer, like time itself made manifest in resonant metal. The bell marks progress, measures morning, reminds all who hear it that time passes, that moments are precious, that work performed with reverence becomes itself a form of prayer, a way of honoring the gifts of earth and tree, water and human skill. You lift your basket, feeling its increased weight, the substantial presence of bark ready for the next stage of transformation. The handles are worn smooth by countless hands, polished by generations of paper makers who carried their own baskets, their own harvests, their own contributions to the ancient craft that turns trees into treasure. The walk back from the water's edge is slow, ceremonial, each step carrying you deeper into the day's work, further into the meditation of making, closer to the moment when bark will become pulp, pulp will become paper, and paper will carry forward the hopes and dreams of human hearts seeking connection across distance and time. Birds call from the bamboo groves, their voices mixing with the sound of water over stone. With the gentle footsteps of women returning from their morning harvest, the sounds blend into a symphony of beginning, of work commenced, of another day in the ancient rhythm of seasons and craft, tradition and renewal. Your breathing slows as you walk, matching the pace of meditation, of work that requires not hurry but presence, not speed but attention, not efficiency but reverence. This is the pace of handcraft, of work that honors process as much as product, that finds meaning in method as much as result. The mist thins gradually, revealing more of the sacred landscape where papermakers work, where traditions live, where ancient knowledge passes from hand to hand, generation to generation, century to century. You are part of this continuity, this living stream of knowledge that flows like the river itself, constant yet ever-changing, ancient yet eternally new. Your eyelids grow heavy with the peace of morning work, the satisfaction of harvest begun. The gentle rhythm of transformation commenced. The bark rests in your basket, ready for the next stage, ready to continue its journey from tree to treasure, from bark to beauty. You drift slowly, peacefully, toward dreams of flowing water and gentle hands, of ancient work and timeless rhythms, of bark becoming paper, becoming carrier of human dreams. You sleep, and the river continues its eternal flow, carrying mist and memory, tradition and transformation. The endless story of matter changing form, of trees becoming paper, of human hands blessed with the power to create beauty from the gifts of earth and sky. Chapter 4. Preparing the pulp. You wake once more in the gentle embrace of morning, your basket of washed mulberry bark beside you like a treasure chest filled with possibility. The river's song continues, its liquid voice carrying prayers and promises downstream, while mist rises like incense from water blessed by contact with sacred work. Now begins the next phase of transformation, the patient process of turning clean bark into the pulp that will become paper. You carry your basket to a wooden platform built beside the stream, its surface worn smooth by generations of papermakers who sat here to prepare their bark, to begin the gentle violence of separation that frees individual fibers from their communal bonds. The platform is made from thick cedar planks, joined without nails, held together by wooden pegs and the wisdom of craftsmen who understood how wood wishes to be assembled. A low wooden bench waits, its surface polished by countless hours of use, its height perfect for the work ahead. The bench was made by your grandfather, carved from a single piece of kiaki wood, zelkova, its grain flowing like frozen water, like time made visible in living wood. He shaped it with hand tools, with patience, with love for the granddaughter who would one day sit here to carry forward ancient traditions. You settle onto the bench, feeling its familiar embrace, its perfect support for the work that requires both strength and delicacy, both persistence and gentleness. Your body remembers this position, this angle, this relationship between hands and work surface that makes possible the patient labor of fiber preparation. This is ergonomics developed over centuries, human wisdom about how bodies can work in harmony with tools and materials. Before you lies a shallow wooden tub, carved from a single piece of camphor wood, its interior worn smooth as silk by generations of use. The wood has absorbed the oils and essences of countless batches of bark, becoming seasoned, flavored, perfectly adapted to the work it serves. Camphor wood was chosen for its resistance to water, its subtle antiseptic properties, its ability to remain stable through countless cycles of wet and dry. You begin to arrange your tools, each one placed with ceremonial precision in positions learned through years of practice. A wooden mallet rests within easy reach, its head carved from dense oak, its handle wrapped with cotton cord for grip, for comfort during long hours of use. Beside it, a collection of wooden paddles, each shaped for specific tasks, each worn smooth by faithful service to the art of papermaking. The first strip of bark goes into the tub, pale and clean from its river washing, ready for the next stage of transformation. You add others, creating a small pile of potential, a collection of tree memories waiting to be released into paper dreams. The bark lies quietly, patiently, holding within its fibers all the strength that will make paper possible, all the beauty that will emerge through your careful work. Water from a ceramic pitcher joins the bark. Clean mountain water carried from a spring that emerges from granite deep within the earth. The water is soft, mineral-rich, perfect for the delicate chemistry of fiber separation. As it touches the bark, you can almost feel the fibers beginning to relax, to release their grip on each other, to prepare for the gentle violence of separation. You begin with your hands, fingers working through the water and bark, like a pianist practicing scales, like a weaver testing threads for strength and quality. The bark yields to your touch, fibers beginning to separate under gentle pressure, releasing their communal bonds, accepting individual identity. This is meditation through touch, prayer through the laying on of hands, sacred work disguised as simple craft. The wooden mallet comes to hand. Its weight familiar, comfortable, perfectly balanced for the rhythmic work ahead. You begin to beat the bark, not with violence, but with the patient percussion of transformation, the gentle drumming that will free fibers from their woody matrix. The sound is soft, musical, like distant thunder, like the heartbeat of the earth itself, made audible through human labor. Tap, tap, the mallet falls in steady rhythm. Each blow precisely measured, perfectly controlled. This is not destruction, but liberation. Not violence, but midwifery. Helping fibers find their individual voices, their separate destinies. The bark begins to change, to soften, to surrender its tree structure in favor of paper potential. You work in sections, moving methodically through the pile of bark, giving each piece the attention it deserves, the time it requires for proper transformation. Some pieces yield quickly, their fibers eager to separate, ready for their paper destiny. Others resist, clinging to tree identity, requiring more patience, more gentle persuasion, more time to accept the change that will fulfill their highest purpose. Water clouds as fibers begin to separate. Individual cells freed from their communal bonds. floating in liquid suspension, like thoughts released from the prison of unspoken ideas. The cloudy water is beautiful, rich with possibility, thick with the raw material of paper, heavy with potential, waiting to be shaped by skillful hands and ancient knowledge. The rhythm of your work creates a meditation, a moving prayer that connects you to all the women who have sat on this bench, who have wielded this mallet, who have performed this same gentle violence in service of beauty. The sound carries across the water, mixing with similar sounds from other platforms, creating a percussion ensemble, a morning symphony of transformation and craft. Your breathing synchronizes with the mallet's rhythm, in with the lift, out with the fall, creating a unity of body and tool, of purpose and action, of human intention and natural material. This is the zone athletes speak of, the flow state that artists know, the perfect harmony between worker and work, between intention and result. Gradually the bark surrenders its structure, individual fibers floating free in the cloudy water, each one a tiny miracle of cellulose architecture, each one perfectly designed by millions of years of evolution to provide strength and flexibility to living trees. Now they will serve a different purpose, carry words instead of water, support thoughts instead of leaves, connect human hearts instead of branches to sky. You pause to examine your work, lifting a handful of the fibrous slurry, watching water stream between your fingers, seeing how the bark has transformed from solid strips into individual threads, from tree structure into the raw material of paper. The transformation is visible, tangible, miraculous in its completeness, yet achieved through the simplest of means: water, pressure, time, and patient hands guided by ancient knowledge. A bird calls from the bamboo grove, its voice liquid and sweet, adding natural music to the percussion of mallets and the whisper of water over stone. The bird knows nothing of papermaking, yet its presence blesses the work, connects it to the great web of life, reminds you that human craft is part of nature, not separate from it, but one expression of the creative force that moves through all things. You add more water, watching it swirl through the fiber mixture, carrying individual threads in liquid suspension, creating the consistency that will make papermaking possible. The water must be just right, not too thick, not too thin, perfectly balanced for the delicate process of sheet formation. This is knowledge that lives in your hands, in your eyes, in the accumulated wisdom of generations of papermakers. The wooden paddle comes to hand, its surface smooth as silk, its edge worn to perfect thinness by countless hours of stirring, of mixing, of blending fibers into homogeneous suspension. You begin to stir, slowly, gently, creating currents that carry fibers through liquid space, that ensure even distribution, that prepare the mixture for the next stage of transformation. The stirring is hypnotic, meditative, your hand following patterns learned in childhood, movements that create optimal mixing without damaging delicate fibers, round and round, creating whirlpools and eddies, tiny cyclones that carry individual threads on journeys through liquid space, preparing them for their destiny as paper, as carriers of human thoughts and dreams. Other women work at their own tubs, their own mallets, creating distant percussion, their own paddles, stirring fiber into suspension. The community of papermakers extends across the platform, across the valley, across centuries of women who have performed this same work, who have kept alive the knowledge that transforms trees into treasure, bark into beauty, forest into the foundation of civilization itself. The sun climbs higher, its light reaching through thinning mist to illuminate your work, to bless the transformation taking place in wooden tubs beside flowing water. The light transforms everything it touches, makes the fiber suspension glow like liquid pearls, makes your hands appear blessed as they work their patient magic, makes ordinary craft appear sacred, which perhaps it always was. You test the consistency, lifting a pebble full of fiber mixture, watching how it flows, how it holds together, how individual threads maintain their integrity while accepting communal destiny. The mixture is almost ready, almost perfect, almost prepared for the next stage of transformation. This is judgment developed through years of practice, knowledge that cannot be taught but must be learned through repetition, through failure and success, through the patient accumulation of understanding. Time moves like honey here beside the river, slow and golden, sweet with the satisfaction of meaningful work. You lose track of hours, of minutes, finding yourself instead in the eternal now of craft, the timeless space where human skill meets natural material, where patience creates beauty, where ancient traditions live through contemporary hands. The fiber mixture reaches perfect consistency, individual threads suspended in liquid medium, ready to be formed into sheets, ready to accept their paper destiny. You set down your paddle, flex fingers that have worked with dedication, with reverence, with the gentle persistence that creates transformation without violence, change without destruction. A temple bell sounds across the valley, its bronze voice marking time's passage, reminding all who hear it that moments are precious, that work performed with reverence becomes itself a form of prayer, a way of honoring the gifts that earth provides to skillful hands, to patient hearts, to humans willing to learn from trees and water, from tradition and innovation, from the eternal dance of matter changing form. You sit quietly for a moment, hands resting in the warm water, feeling the gentle motion of fibers in suspension, the liquid democracy of threads preparing to become paper, to carry forward human hopes and dreams. This is the pause before creation, the quiet moment before the final transformation, the breath before the song. Birds continue their morning chorus. Water continues its eternal flow. Mist continues its slow rise towards sky. And you continue your place in the ancient rhythm of seasons and craft, tradition and renewal. Bark becoming paper, becoming carrier of all the words that connect human heart to human heart across distance and time. Your breathing deepens, slows, finding harmony with the rhythm of water and work. With the patient pulse of transformation taking place in wooden tubs beside sacred streams, The morning holds you gently, supports your work, blesses your hands that carry forward knowledge given by countless generations of women who found meaning in the marriage of skill and service, tradition and innovation, human purpose and natural gift. Your eyelids grow heavy with the satisfaction of preparation completed, of bark transformed into the raw material of paper, of ancient knowledge flowing through contemporary hands. The fiber mixture waits, patient, ready, holding within its liquid suspension all the potential of words yet unwritten, thoughts yet unexpressed, connections yet unmade between human hearts seeking understanding across the barriers of distance and time. You drift slowly, peacefully toward dreams of flowing water and gentle hands, of mallets beating patient rhythms, of fibers finding freedom in liquid suspension, of transformation taking place through the marriage of human skill and natural gift, of ancient traditions living through contemporary practice. You sleep, and the river continues its eternal song, carrying mist and memory, tradition and transformation, the endless story of matter changing form through the blessed work of human hands, guided by wisdom older than written words, deeper than conscious knowledge, more enduring than individual lives. Chapter 5. Forming the paper sheets. You wake for the final time this morning, emerging gently from dreams of flowing water and patient hands, of ancient rhythms and timeless craft. The sun has climbed higher now, its golden light transforming mist into veils of silk, creating a cathedral of light and vapor where papermakers practice their sacred art. Your fiber mixture waits, perfectly prepared, ready for the final transformation that will turn suspended threads into sheets of perfect white. You rise from your wooden bench, feeling the pleasant ache of work well done, of muscles that have served ancient purposes, of hands that carry forward knowledge older than written history. The fiber mixture in your tub glows like liquid pearls in the strengthening light, each thread suspended in perfect democracy, waiting to be called into community, into the ordered structure that will become paper. A bamboo screen waits on the platform beside you, its surface a miracle of precise construction, each slat perfectly parallel, each gap exactly measured to allow water to drain while holding back the precious fibers that will become paper. The screen was made by master craftsmen in mountain villages, men who understood bamboo, who worked with the grain and flexibility of giant brass, who created tools that serve beauty as well as function. The screen rests in a wooden frame, hinged for easy handling, perfectly fitted to create the precise thickness that will become paper. The frame was carved from dense hardwood, shaped to last for generations, proportioned according to measurements handed down through centuries of papermaking tradition. This is technology in its purest form, human knowledge made manifest in tools that serve their purpose with elegant simplicity. You lift the screen, feeling its familiar weight, its perfect balance in your hands. The bamboo surface appears almost white in the morning light, clean and ready to receive the fiber mixture that will transform from liquid suspension into solid sheet. from scattered individuals into unified community, from potential into reality, through the simple magic of water draining away. The tub of fiber mixture awaits, its surface gently stirred by morning breeze. Individual threads moving in liquid dance, preparing for the moment of collection, the gathering into form that will complete their transformation from tree to paper. You stirred gently with your paddle, creating currents that distribute fibers evenly, that prepare them for the crucial moment when liquid becomes solid, when suspension becomes sheet. You lower the screen into the mixture, feeling the cool water touch your hands, watching as fibers begin to settle on the bamboo surface like snow falling on winter ground, like clouds condensing into rain, like thoughts organizing themselves into words. The process appears simple, but contains within it all the complexity of physics and chemistry, the mystery of matter changing state, the miracle of transformation through human skill and natural law. Water drains through the bamboo, carrying excess liquid back to the tub while leaving behind a thin layer of fibers, individual threads that begin to interlock, to support each other, to create the matrix that will become paper. You watch the process with eyes trained by years of practice, adjusting, adapting, ensuring that the fiber distribution remains even, that the future paper will be uniform in thickness, consistent in strength. The first sheet begins to form, pale and perfect, like snow settling into drifts, like cream rising to the surface of fresh milk. The fibers arrange themselves naturally, following laws older than human understanding, creating bonds that will give paper its strength, its flexibility, its ability to carry words across distance and time without tearing, without failing, without losing the precious cargo of human thought and feeling. You lift the screen, watching water cascade from its edges, seeing how the young paper holds together, how individual fibers have become community, how scattered threads have accepted unified purpose. This is the moment of birth, the emergence of paper from the marriage of water and bark, human skill and natural material, ancient knowledge and contemporary practice. The new sheet rests on the bamboo screen like a blessing, thin as morning mist, strong as spider silk, perfect as fresh snow. You examine it with critical eyes, checking for thin spots, for irregularities, for any flaw that might compromise its future service as carrier of words, keeper of thoughts, bridge between human hearts. The sheet is good, very good, worthy of the ancient traditions it represents. You carry the screen to a drying area, prepared with loving care. Wooden racks that hold the screens in perfect position for sun and air to complete the transformation. The racks are weathered by seasons of service, aged to silver grey by countless cycles of rain and sunshine, worn smooth by generations of hands that placed screens with the same careful precision you use now. A gentle breeze stirs through the drying area, carrying the scent of water and fibre, of wood and morning air. The breeze will help dry the new paper, will carry away moisture while leaving behind the precious substance that will serve human communication for years to come. This is air blessed by its service to craft, wind made sacred by its role in the ancient process of transformation. You place your screen on the rack, adjusting its position to catch optimal sunlight, to receive maximum benefit from the drying breeze. The placement is critical. Too much sun will dry the paper too quickly. Too little will leave it damp and vulnerable. Just right will create the perfect conditions for proper curing, for the slow transformation that completes the journey from bark to beautiful paper. Other paper makers work beside you, their own screens finding places on the racks, their own sheets beginning the final phase of transformation. The community of craft extends across the drying area, across the valley, across centuries of women who have performed this same careful placement, who have trusted sun and air to complete what human hands began. You return to your tub for the second sheet, the mixture still perfect, still ready to yield another treasure, another miracle of transformation. The paddle stirs, creating currents that carry fibers into suspension, that prepare them for collection, for the gathering into form that will create another carrier of human dreams and aspirations. The screen descends again, fibers settling like gentle snow, like thoughts organizing into poetry, like scattered notes becoming symphony. Water drains, excess returning to the tub while treasure remains. Individual threads accepting community, scattered elements becoming unified whole through the simple magic of proper technique and patient practice. Sheet after sheet forms under your skilled hands, each one perfect in its own way, each one slightly different from its predecessors, each one carrying within its fiber matrix the unique conditions of its creation, the particular moment when liquid became solid, when potential became reality, when bark completed its transformation into the foundation of human communication. The work enters a rhythm, a meditation of repeated action, a prayer of consistent practice. Dip, drain, lift, place, each cycle bringing forth another sheet, another small miracle, another contribution to the great work of making beauty from bark, treasure from trees, bridges between human hearts from the gifts of forest and stream. The sun climbs toward its zenith, its light growing stronger, more direct, more effective for the drying that must complete the transformation. The first sheets begin to show signs of readiness, edges curling slightly, surfaces becoming more opaque, water content decreasing as sun and air work their ancient magic. A butterfly visits the drying racks, its wings like stained glass, its presence a blessing on the work being done. The butterfly understands transformation, has experienced its own metamorphosis from caterpillar to flying jewel. Its visit seems to acknowledge the change taking place on bamboo screens, the emergence of paper from the marriage of skill and nature. Time flows like honey in this sacred place, slow and golden, sweet with the satisfaction of meaningful work. You lose count of sheets, lose awareness of passing hours, finding yourself instead in the eternal now of craft, the timeless space where human purpose meets natural material, where patience creates beauty, where ancient traditions live through contemporary hands. A tea kettle whistles from a small fire nearby, steam rising like prayers toward heaven, promising refreshment for workers whose hands create beauty, whose skills preserve traditions, whose labor connects past to future through the eternal present of meaningful work. The tea will be green, mountain-grown, prepared with the same care given to papermaking. Another ritual, another connection to the ancient ways. You pause in your work, accepting a cup of tea from a fellow craftsman, feeling the warm ceramic against your palms, breathing the fragrant steam that carries the essence of mountain gardens, of careful cultivation, of leaves dried and cured with the same patience given to bark and fibre. The tea tastes of mist and morning, of earth and careful tending, of traditions that honour both the gifts of nature and the skill of human hands. The first sheets are nearly dry, their surfaces becoming white as fresh snow, strong as hope, ready to receive ink and intention, words and wishes, all the cargo that paper carries between human hearts across the barriers of distance and time. You test one gently, feeling its strength, its flexibility, its readiness to serve the purpose for which it was created. Carefully, reverently, you lift the first completed sheet from its bamboo screen, feeling its perfect texture, its ideal thickness, its readiness to carry words into the world. The paper is beautiful, translucent as morning mist, strong as spider silk, perfect as fresh snow. This is the culmination, the completion, the final miracle in the long journey from living tree to finished paper. You hold the sheet up to the light, watching how illumination passes through its fibers, how the random arrangement of threads creates patterns like clouds, like water, like the grain in fine wood. This is art created by physics, beauty emerging from the natural tendency of fibers to interlock, to support each other, to create strength through community. Other sheets joined the first, each one carefully removed from its screen, each one examined with critical eye and appreciative heart. The batch is good, very good, worthy of the traditions it represents, ready to serve whatever purpose awaits, whether carrying love letters between distant hearts, recording poetry that captures the essence of seasons, or preserving knowledge for future generations. You stack the finished sheets carefully, placing soft cloth between each layer, creating a pile of potential, a collection of possibility, raw material for all the communication that connects human beings across space and time. The stack grows, testimony to morning's work, evidence of ancient traditions preserved through contemporary practice. The afternoon light grows golden, honey-coloured, perfect for the final drying that ensures paper will last for generations, will carry its precious cargo without fading, without deteriorating, without failing in its sacred mission to preserve and transmit human thought and feeling. This is light blessed by its service to beauty, sun made sacred by its role in the completion of transformation. Birds call from bamboo groves, their voices mixing with the gentle sounds of papermakers completing their morning work, of screens being cleaned, of tools being arranged for tomorrow's continuation of ancient craft. The sounds blend into a symphony of completion, of satisfaction, of work well done in service of traditions that connect generations through the simple miracle of skillful hands and patient hearts. The river continues its eternal song, carrying away the water used in papermaking, returning it to the great cycle of mountain and sea, rain and snow, the endless circulation that makes all life possible. The water will travel far from this sacred place, but it carries with it the blessing of having served beauty, of having participated in the transformation that turns bark into paper, trees into treasure, forest into foundation of human communication. A temple bell sounds across the valley, its bronze voice marking completion, celebrating achievement, blessing the work that preserves ancient knowledge while serving contemporary needs. The bell speaks of continuity, of traditions that flow like rivers from source to sea, of human skills that bridge past and future through the eternal present of meaningful labor. You gather your tools, cleaning each one with the care reserved for sacred objects, for instruments that serve beauty, for implements that make possible the transformation of bark into paper, of scattered fibers into unified sheets, of natural gifts into human treasure. Each tool returns to its appointed place, ready for tomorrow's continuation of ancient work. The finished paper waits, perfect and patient, ready to accept whatever destiny awaits, whether carrying poetry or prose, love letters or business documents, sacred texts or simple messages between friends. Each sheet holds infinite possibility, unlimited potential, the open future that awaits the touch of brush or pen, the caress of ink and intention. As evening approaches, as afternoon light grows long and golden, as shadows stretch across the sacred platform where paper is born from bark and water, you feel the deep satisfaction that comes from work well done, from traditions honored, from ancient knowledge passed forward through skillful hands and patient practice. The morning's journey seems complete, from waking in soft light through walking mountain paths, from harvesting bark beside flowing streams, through preparing pulp with gentle patience, from forming sheets with careful precision, through drying them in blessed sunlight. Each stage connected to the next, each moment necessary for the final transformation, each action part of the great work that turns trees into treasure. Your breathing deepens, slows, finding harmony with the rhythm of evening approaching, of work completed, of ancient traditions continued through contemporary practice. The paper-making platform grows quiet, peaceful, ready to rest until tomorrow brings another opportunity to practice the sacred craft, to continue the ancient work, to keep alive the knowledge that transforms bark into beauty. Your eyelids grow heavy with the satisfaction of completion, of work that honors both natural gifts and human skill, of traditions preserved through patient practice and loving attention. The finished paper waits, perfect and peaceful, ready to serve whatever purpose destiny provides, ready to carry human thoughts and feelings across the barriers of distance and time. You drift, slowly, gently, toward the deep rest that comes after meaningful work. After traditions honored, after ancient knowledge preserved through contemporary hands, the river sings its eternal song, the bamboo whispers in evening breeze. The finished paper waits in patient perfection, and you sleep the sleep of work well done, of beauty created, of traditions kept alive through the blessed labor of skillful hands and devoted hearts. You sleep, and dream of bark becoming paper, of scattered fibers accepting community, of ancient knowledge flowing through contemporary practice, of human hands blessed with the power to transform natural gifts into bridges between hearts, carriers of thoughts, preservers of words that connect human souls across the vast distances of space and time. The dreams flow like the river itself, carrying images of morning mist and golden sunlight, of bamboo screens holding sheets of perfect white, of water cascading from lifted frames like liquid light returning to its source. In your dreams, the paper speaks, telling stories of trees that gave their bark willingly, of fibers that found joy in community, of sheets that wait patiently to receive the touch of brush and ink, to carry forward the precious cargo of human communication. The night settles gently over the valley, stars appearing one by one in the darkening sky, their light reflecting in the river that continues its eternal song. The finished paper rests in neat stacks, breathing slowly in the cool night air, curing in darkness as it cured in light, completing the final stages of transformation that began with bark and water, patience and skill, ancient knowledge and contemporary practice. Other paper makers sleep in their mountain homes, their own dreams filled with flowing water and gentle rhythms, with the satisfaction of work that honors both tradition and innovation, that preserves ancient knowledge while serving contemporary needs. The community of craft extends through sleep as through waking, connecting generations of women who found meaning in the transformation of bark into beauty, of trees into treasure, of forest into foundation of human civilization. The bamboo screens rest empty now, cleaned and ready for tomorrow's continuation of ancient work, their surfaces gleaming silver in starlight, their precise construction a testament to human understanding of natural materials, of the marriage between skill and nature that makes possible the miracle of papermaking. Each screen holds the memory of countless sheets, the ghost impression of fibers that found form, of liquid that became solid, of potential that became reality. Mountain winds carry the scent of finished paper, clean and pure, sweet with the fragrance of transformation completed, of natural gifts refined through human skill into something greater than the sum of its parts. The scent mingles with pine needles and flowing water, with wood smoke from distant hearths, with all the perfumes of mountain life, lived in harmony with natural rhythms, seasonal cycles. Temple bells ring the hours across sleeping valleys, their bronze voices marking time's passage while celebrating timelessness, acknowledging change while honoring continuity, blessing the present while connecting it to past and future through the endless chain of moments that makes up human existence. Each chime carries prayers for all who sleep, for all who work, for all who preserve ancient knowledge through contemporary practice. In your deepest sleep, you become the paper itself, feeling the strength of interlocked fibers, the flexibility that comes from community, the readiness to receive whatever words or images destiny provides. You are bark transformed, tree become treasure, forest refined into the foundation of human communication. You hold within your fiber matrix all the potential of unwritten words, unexpressed thoughts, unmade connections between hearts that seek understanding across distance and time. The river continues its eternal flow, carrying moonlight on its surface like liquid silver, like prayers made visible, like the dreams of sleeping papermakers flowing toward distant seas. The water that helped transform bark into paper continues its own journey, part of the great circulation that connects mountain to ocean, rain to snow, the endless cycling of elements that makes all life possible, all transformation achievable through patience and proper understanding. Stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, constellations that have guided travelers for millennia, that connected generations through shared stories, shared navigation, shared wonder at the vast mystery of existence. The same stars that shine on sleeping papermakers once illuminated ancient Chinese inventors who first discovered the secret of making paper from bark, who gave humanity the gift of portable written communication, of books and letters, of all the ways that words on paper shrink the world and expand the heart. Night-blooming flowers open in the darkness, their petals pale as fresh paper, their fragrance carried on mountain breezes like whispered prayers, like secrets shared between earth and sky. The flowers understand transformation, know the mystery of becoming something beautiful, of fulfilling purpose through patient acceptance of change. Their blooming blesses the sleep of those who work with transformation, who honor the mysteries of matter changing form through skill and dedication. The finished paper dreams its own dreams, of brushes wet with ink, of words flowing across surfaces like water finding its course, of carrying love letters between distant hearts, recording poetry that captures the essence of seasons, preserving knowledge for generations yet unborn. Each sheet holds infinite possibility, unlimited potential, the open future that awaits human touch, human intention, human need for connection and communication. Mountain streams continue their ancient songs, water over stone, around bends carved by patience and persistence, through pools where starlight gathers like scattered coins. The streams carry the voices of all the water that participated in papermaking, that helped transform bark into sheets, that blessed the work with its purity, its mineral-rich composition, its perfect temperature for the delicate chemistry of fiber separation and reunion. In the deepest part of sleep, in the quiet center where dreams become meditation, you float like a fiber in perfect suspension, supported by liquid peace, surrounded by the democracy of threads that accept community, that find strength in unity while maintaining individual integrity. This is the mystery at the heart of papermaking, the paradox of many becoming one while remaining many, of strength through flexibility. Buddhist temples hidden in mountain valleys continue their ancient practices. Monks rising for midnight meditation, finding in darkness the same peace that papermakers find in the transformation of bark to beauty. The practices complement each other, both seeking harmony with natural rhythms, both finding sacred purpose in patient work, both honoring traditions that connect generations through shared wisdom, shared practice, shared understanding of the mysteries that surround human existence. Moonlight filters through paper walls in sleeping homes, creating the same gentle illumination that marks dawn, the same soft radiance that makes shoji screens glow like lanterns, like prayers made visible in architecture. The light blesses sleeping papermakers, touches their dreams with silver, reminds them, even in sleep, of the beauty they create, the traditions they preserve. Forest spirits move through bamboo groves, through groves of mulberry trees that gave their bark willingly, through the sacred landscapes where papermaking flourishes. The spirits understand sacrifice for greater purpose, transformation through willing surrender, the mystery of finding fulfillment through service to something larger than individual existence. They bless the work of human hands that honor natural gifts, that transform without violence, that create beauty through understanding rather than force. The night grows deeper, more peaceful, more complete in its embrace of sleeping valley, sleeping craftsmen, sleeping sheets of paper that wait patiently for their destiny. Stars fade toward dawn. Temple bells mark the passing hours. River continues its eternal song. And through it all, the great work continues. The ancient transformation that turns bark into paper, trees into treasure, forest into foundation of all human communication, all human connection, all the ways that words on paper make the vast world smaller and the isolated heart less alone. Your sleep deepens, becomes more restful, more complete, filled with dreams of flowing water and patient hands, of ancient rhythms preserved through contemporary practice, of work that honors both natural gifts and human skill, of traditions that flow like rivers from source to sea, connecting generations through the simple miracle of bark becoming paper, becoming carrier of human hopes and dreams, becoming bridge between souls that seek understanding across the vast distances of space and time and difference. You drift deeper into rest, deeper into peace, deeper into the gentle embrace of sleep that comes after meaningful work, after traditions honored, after beauty created from the marriage of human skill and natural gift. The river sings you deeper. The bamboo whispers you into profound rest. The finished paper waits in patient perfection, and you sleep the blessed sleep of work completed, of ancient knowledge preserved, of beauty born from human hands, guided by wisdom older than written words, deeper than conscious understanding, more enduring than individual lives. And in your deepest sleep, you become one with the eternal rhythm, the endless cycle, the sacred dance of matter changing form through the blessed work of human hands that honor tradition, that preserve knowledge, that transform bark into paper, paper into carriers of connection, carriers of love, carriers of all the words that make human hearts less alone in the vast mystery of existence. You sleep and dream and rest in the perfect peace of work well done, of beauty created, of ancient traditions carried forward through the eternal present of skillful hands and devoted hearts. The night holds you gently, like paper holds ink, like water holds fibers, like tradition holds the future in its patient, loving, eternal embrace.